She has grown so much. My hair is getting stuck. One thing this plant will do is it will stick to everything. Good morning, you guys. It's Taivy and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is actually a pretty long-awaited one. I should have made this video months ago. I've been filming for this video for a while and I just never got around to filming this part of the video where I sit down and talk to you guys. I've been documenting my plant here. Oh no, she's falling over. If you've seen my previous video that I released sometime last year, you would have known that I started becoming a plant mom, and I have a vine plant here that, as you can see, is pretty huge. But in my last video, she was so much smaller and I was just starting my journey. And I'm proud to say, after releasing that video, that I've taken very good care of my plant. I've gotten the planter that I put in my video. I bought the right soil that I needed to keep her healthy, and I also got the chance to name her. So in just a little while, I'm actually gonna go ahead and tell you guys what I decided to name my plant. Then I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about what type of vine plant she is and how I take care of her, and I'll give you some tips on how you can grow your own vine plant if you ever decide to start your plant family. So in my last video, I was just getting you guys acquainted with my vine plant and my marigold named TJ, but unfortunately TJ did not survive the year, so I have to start fresh with growing those types of seeds. And in the meantime, I decided to devote all of my time to taking care of an indoor houseplant. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Right here, you can see a pretty tall tree of a vine plant. And the reason why that is because I have these plant props in the very middle that are holding up her vines. The last time I filmed a video with my vine plant, I can say this plant was stretched about 2 feet, not too long, maybe 18 inches, maybe 3 feet at most, right? I kid you not, when the vines are unwoven and stretched out as far as possible, she's about like 7 feet long. She's huge. She's grown so much since I first had her, and I think in my last video I hadn't even put my plant in soil. So a couple things did happen. I'm going to be inserting footage over the past few months because how she is now is not how she was when I initially started to take care of her growth. My plant was just in water and it was ready to be rooted because you can see the roots were growing bottom, which means once the roots grow out from the mother plant, you can put them in soil and plant her like this one with a little feeding system to tell you how much water you have. So these plants survive really well without a lot of water, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, once I put her in this planter with the soil, it was immediately, she was growing like crazy. That was going well for a while. Insert cute little photo shoot of her when she was, I would say, maybe about 4 or 5 months of this process. She was fabulous, very full and lively, but not too long. And then one day, maybe a month ago, I came home and I noticed the trellis was leaning a lot, and I noticed that the vines were getting heavier and heavier on their own and thicker and greener, and I kept seeing the little sprouts and I was so excited, but the trellis was plastic and couldn't hold my plant. And I'm like, wow, you're getting pretty heavy. And where I used to keep my vine plant was too close to the wall, and one thing these plants will do is they will grow up your wall, and I did not want her to do that. So I was very stressed out because I started to feel like my vine was growing way too fast, growing outside the planter I just put her in. The trellis can't hold this plant. What am I going to do? Suddenly one day I came home and the trellis was broken. And I was just like, wow, what do you do when your plant breaks its own support system? Not to worry, Landry and I, my best friend, actually went over to Home Depot. I purchased these green props. I'm gonna insert footage right now of me putting my plant back together, and I decided to keep her in this planter because I did not feel like buying a larger home for my plant yet, not until I move. And I felt like having the taller props will allow her vines to hang further down, which was good, and I ended up loving the final look. And I think she is growing up and she's no longer a little baby vine anymore, and I'm so proud of it. But anyway, that was me rambling with my little anecdotal story about my plant. And now that I've done that and caught you guys up on the process, I'm gonna tell you guys which name I decided to go with. So here are the names that I was thinking about naming her. You can see them right here. I decided to name her, drum roll, ladies and gentlemen, please meet Olive. So I decided to name her Olive. I just thought Olive sounded so pretty and special. I just really like that name. Just made me feel so happy. I was also thinking of naming her Jade, the color of luck. It just didn't seem to fit. Olive seemed more her vibe. And when I talked to some of my friends about Olive in real life, they get it. They're like, how's Olive doing? And I think it's important to name your plant. You don't have to stick with a binary. Whatever you want to do to support your plant. When you name something, recognize that it's a living thing. There is a level of attention that you give it beyond an inanimate object. So if you name your plant, one, you're providing that ownership and that love to your plant, but also it kind of helps in your ability to care for the plant as well. If you don't look at your plant as a living organism, you could run the risk of actually ignoring your plant. Slowly your plant could die. What helps me pay attention to Olive was giving her a name and treating her as a living organism that needs love, light, nutrients, and attention from time to time. Treating Olive that much respect and dignity has allowed her to flourish. And as she's grown, I've grown too. And that's just my take on having plants. If you can't feel and understand nature in that way, then maybe being a plant mom or dad isn't for you. So proud of her. She has grown so much. My hair is getting stuck on Olive. One thing this plant will do is it will stick to everything. The type of plant that Olive is a pothos or pothos, depending on how you pronounce it, P-O-T-H-O-S, and that is a type of vine plant that primarily grows indoors. The great thing about pothos is that there's so many different types. Olive is known as a devil's ivy. There's other ones like golden, snow queen. If you want to know more about devil's ivy, I provided a link down below for you to do your research. But some of the great things about Olive is that she's low maintenance. When I say low maintenance, I mean you do not have to change the soil every week. You don't have to water her every day or every week. In fact, vine plants grow very well with minimal water. They also grow very well only being in water. I personally like growing them in soil once they've been rooted, and I know there's some links that may say something like root them in water and then you transfer them to soil, they may not survive or grow as fast. That is a complete lie, because I took Olive out of the water and put her right in soil. She just took off growing. So as long as you do it right, your plant will be fine. Another great thing about Olive is that she doesn't need direct sunlight. I know when you have plants, you just think the sun needs to be on them, but not every plant needs to be directly in front of the sun. Another great thing about these plants is that the more green the plant is, I would say the healthier it is. I like that Olive is low maintenance, easy to care for. The caveat of that, when the plants are happy and healthy, they grow. So if you're going to have an indoor plant like this, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need plenty of space to potentially house your plant once it starts to rapidly grow. And I mean in a blink of an eye. In 6 months, your baby plant could be as big as Olive or bigger. And if you don't have enough space, or if you're in a position where you do not want your plant to grow up the wall or attach itself to something, you have to take precaution now and make sure it's either situated where it can hang from the ceiling, or it's sitting on a nice table where it can't actually reach out and grab onto stuff. Vines like to do that. I have to find the name, but they have this special thing that makes them cling to wood, to walls. Kind of cute, but annoying at the same time. Another thing you're gonna have to be prepared to do is have a small little budget for taking care of your plants. And I'm not just talking about just having the one. Every couple of months, be replacing soil, and they love nutrient-rich soil. Though some pothos can survive in poor soil, you're gonna have to be prepared to have the soil you need. You might spend a few extra dollars on a very nice planter. You can use anything, honestly, but as long as it has a way to let some of the extra water come out, you'll be fine. Occasionally, as the plant grows, you have to be prepared to manage those growth spurts. I was not fully prepared for Olive to outgrow and break the trellis when I first got her situated. I thought that video was going to come very soon and I'll be able to update you guys. This is kind of like a 2 phases of Olive in one video. So if you do have an indoor house plant, just be attentive, get the right supplies, and set a little money aside for early growth spurts. If you want to start a plant family, start with one plant. Don't overwhelm yourself with all these little plants that you think are cute, and then now you have 5 plants you got to take care of, and this one likes soil, this one likes warm temperature, this one likes to be cold. Learn everything that you can about that plant and become an expert. I only know as much as what I've been exposed to and what research I do on my own time, not just magically waking up knowing everything about plants. I do have more of a green thumb now because I took the time to educate myself. So it's okay if you don't know anything about plants right now. You can always develop that education later on. Get a low maintenance, easy plant to take care of that's hard to kill. Some of my best tips for you guys. One other thing I wanted to talk about in regards to pothos like devil's ivy or any vine plant is they are poisonous. That is a big thing you need to know. I don't have any pets. That's not something I really have to worry about. However, these plants have like calcium oxides or something. I had to get the name. And because of that, if ingested by either a cat, a dog, or a child, you can suffer from vomiting, you can get very sick. I've never heard of these plants being fatal, but definitely very uncomfortable. Just a warning out there to any of you guys who want to have plants in your house, but you also have fur babies or real babies. Just be aware that these plants are not the safest to have around those type of beings. This is just a disclaimer for my video. I am no plant expert. I just love Olive and I love sharing my plant journey with you guys. But do your research in regards to the plant because you do not want to bring any danger into your home. Okay guys, that has been my update about my vine plant. Olive, it's been a pleasure sitting next to you. Talking to your plant's also a good thing. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, catching up with me and my plant, Olive. And I'm glad I was able to put together this video for you guys so you can be fully informed and up to date about what's going on in my life. Definitely give this video a huge thumbs up and leave me a comment down below of what other plant you think I should get. And let me know what type of plants you have at home. I would love to know more about your plants. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video.